In this tutorial we are going to take the pen tool and the text tool to make it look like an image is made out of text. So I'm going to go to File, New, and I'm going to do a print document. So make sure print is selected. Click OK. Here's my print document. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a file on here, and it's going to be a template that we're going to trace around with the pen tool. So I'm going to go to File, Place, and I'm going to find my guitar picture, and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to check template, and this is going to put it on a layer as a template, and it'll be faded a little bit so that we can trace around it. It'll automatically lock it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and place that, and there's my guitar. I'm going to take my magnifying glass tool and hold the Option key and click until I've zoomed out and I can see the guitar here. Now if you notice right here in your layers, I've got template guitar, and it's locked, and this button right here turns the visibility on and off. Looks a little different than the eyeball, and it's indicating that it's a visibility for a template layer. Now the guitar is outside of my document space, so I'm going to turn the lock off for a moment, click on the guitar, and I'm going to go up to the top left corner or right corner, it doesn't matter which, hold Shift, and I'm going to shrink this guitar down and move it so that it is inside my document. And I want this guitar to take up pretty much the entire document, so I'm going to resize it and center it until it is in the center of my document. I'm using the arrow keys to nudge it over, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go back and lock the layer again and use my magnifying glass, and I'm actually going to draw a box around what I want to see. So if I just click and drag a box, it's going to center this. It's zoomed in right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is use the pen tool, and we're going to trace around this guitar on layer 1. So go to layer 1. Layer 1 is automatically created for you, and I want there to be no fill for my pen, so I'm going to click none for fill, and black stroke is fine of 1 point because I want to be able to see where I'm going here. And I'm actually going to use my zoom tool, and I'm going to zoom into the neck of the guitar so that I can see it really close. So with my pen tool, I'll start right here at the top, and I'm going to click and make a dot, and I'm just going to keep clicking around this guitar head so that I can make the shape of the guitar. So I'm going to click down here, and I'm going to pull my mouse, and you can see that the line bends around to any shape that I want it to be. And what I want to do is just outline this guitar body. So I'm going to put the line right on the edge of the guitar, and I'm going to see my line showing up here. And actually every time I make a new arc or a bend, I'm going to click the center. There's 3 lines right here, or 3 dots, sorry, on the pen tool. And if I click this middle dot here, it's going to make that third one go away. That means that I'm starting a brand new curve. If you leave that on there, that dot, then it's going to make the curve swoop back up to where you are. But instead of that, I want the line to end here, and I want to start directly off of this point. I don't want the line to swoop around. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to go to undo. Okay, so that line is still there, and I'm going to go here, and you see that this thing swoops down the bottom here and makes this line. It swooped below where I wanted it to be because I didn't eliminate that dot. So I'm going to go undo, and now I'm back to where I was. Grab my pen tool, and I'm going to eliminate that dot by clicking on the middle one. Now when I come up here, it's going to look just like the guitar. It doesn't swoop below. So go ahead and click wherever there's an arc, and you're going to basically bend this middle line, this arcing line, and these straight lines right here are just handlebars. So I got this other swoop. This straight line right here is basically just a handlebar, and I can grab these and move the shape in any direction that I want with them. If you ever want to go back in time, just push Command Z or Control Z on the Mac, or the PC, sorry, and I'm going to eliminate this dot here by clicking on the middle one. Now that's not there, so now I can start a new line going down. So I'm going to click down to my first string tuning knob here, so I'll click here, and I'm going to go around my tuning knob. I'll go around this tuning knob and around this tuning knob. And you may have to take some time with this. Whenever there's a line that doesn't look right, you can always push Command Z and it'll undo it for you. So you're basically just going to go around this guitar shape until it's how you want it to look. Okay. Once I get to this point, I'm going to make a straight line going all the way down the neck. I'm just going to scroll with my mouse. So I'm going to scroll the middle button and I'm going to scroll down to where the guitar is here. And I'm just going to click a straight line right here. So now I've got a line going from my last point to this point. And I'm going to go around the guitar body now. So basically I'm going to curve this around until this starts to curve around the other direction. So just about here I'll click and make a new curved line, and you can bend this line around until it finally rests right on the guitar, and you want this line to go right on the line of the guitar. So make sure that it's there before you let go. And I'm going to click off this middle button here, this little middle dot, so that I can start a new curve. And I'm going to go right here and curve this around and just lay that line right on the edges of the guitar, and then we're going to get the guitar shaped perfectly. Go ahead and turn that dot off right there. I'm going to go down to the middle here and I'm going to curve this around and just keep working it. If it doesn't look right, then you can always go back, Command Z, or you can go to Edit, Undo the last step that you did. But mine's looking fine right now. So I'm going to click here, and right here I'm not going to be able to get this very well. So this is a good part where I'm going to undo the pen tool. And I'm actually going to find a place maybe along here where it's not turning the other direction. We can only curve in one direction at a time, so I'm going to curve this around. Sometimes you have to pull these handlebars out a lot to get the right curve on these angles. I'm going to undo this dot, and now I can curve around this direction. Make sure that you follow the lines of the guitar. If you miss a line, or if the line doesn't line up properly, then go back and do it again. It's better to get it right the first time than to have to go back a long ways to undo everything. So just get it right the first time and then you'll be fine. And remember, you always want to place your pen at a place where the curve basically ends. So this curve ends here in this area because it's going to start curving again right here. So I only want to get this first initial curve in there. So I'm going to click here, bend this around. The document will automatically scroll up as your mouse goes outside of the window. And let's see. There we go. And we're going to scroll up here with our mouse. And I'm going to come down here where this curve is. Okay, again right here I went a little too far, so I'm going to push Command Z, or I can go to Edit, Undo, and I went a little too far, so I'm going to click here and get this curve in. That's better. Once I get up to the neck here, I'm going to make a straight line going up. Okay, I'm going to scroll up to the top of the neck. And I'm going to click at the top of the neck so I can get that straight line. I'm going to curve this one up. And just keep eliminating that middle dot. That middle dot, it might mess you up. So make sure that you get a new fresh path by selecting the middle dot and getting rid of that handlebar there. The more detailed you make this, the better it's going to look. These are a lot of straight lines, so I'm just going to click a little jag here. And we're just about done. So we got the whole guitar done. It's on layer 1. I'm going to name this guitar body. So my layer is now called guitar body. And you don't have to put it in caps. My caps lock just was on already. I'm actually going to turn it off now. Now, we're going to fill this line with text. And you can fill this with pretty much any text you want within reason. I don't want you to do anything inappropriate, but what I did is I went online and I've just found a song that I like, and this is a song that I like. And once you find the lyrics to it, you can highlight it. So just highlight the lyrics to this song. Whoops, let's see. So I'll highlight this, and then I can copy and paste it. So I go to Edit, Copy, and then I'm going to paste it into a document. Now what I did is I just opened up a text document. You can open up Microsoft Word. You can open up the basic text document that Apple comes with. And this is what I did. I pasted it in, and this is... Whoop, let me copy this first. Okay. Okay. So I pasted it in, and this is how it looked. This is how it used to look right here. Just like this. Basically it says this is my life, and then the enter key or return key was hit to make this new line. Enter key. Every time there's a new line, the enter key was hit. And so I made this version right here by basically clicking at the end of each sentence and hitting backspace and then spacebar. So I'm hitting backspace, spacebar, and going to the next line, backspace, spacebar, so that it's one continuous line. This will only work if you have one continuous line with no enters or returns. So whatever you decide to do, and you can type something if you'd like as well, some sort of inspiration, whatever music makes you think of, you just have to have enough of it to fill the guitar body. And once you have yours, and it looks like this right here, where there's no enters, there's only space bars. And so you just want one continuous line with no enter key being hit. Once you get that going, and you can just make sure that your text is never has the enter key hit. I can go to Edit and Copy, and I can copy this text. I'm going to go back to Illustrator, and with my text tool, I'm going to choose a path for my text to go on. Now, if you see my text tool, as I approach this line, it goes from a square around the text tool to kind of an oval shape around the text tool. What that means is if I click, it's going to start typing text inside this shape of the guitar. And that's not what we want to do. Today, we want the text to only go on the outside to outline the guitar. So as I approach, if I hold the Option or Alt key, and you'll see that my mouse now turns into a squiggly slanted line, that means I'm going to type on the outside of this shape, or on the line that's going around the guitar. So make sure you hold the Option key down, and then I'm going to click. And now, if I go up to Edit, Paste, I've got my lyrics that are right there. Okay? As I use my magnifying glass and hold the Option key, I can zoom out, and I can see that my guitar body is now filled with the text. Well, not filled, but outlined with the text. And if I turn the visibility off my template, this is what you see. So I've got my text outlining my guitar body right here. And if you notice right here, I've got this little plus sign. That means that there's more text than can fit on this line. And so it's basically saying that there's more that you can add, or more text than what can be viewed on there. Don't worry about that right now. But you do want the entire body to be filled with text on the outside rim. Now with my text tool, I can go ahead and highlight this text. So now I've got the entire text highlighted, and I can make this a different size if I want to. So let's make it 11 point instead. And it's revealed more of the text here. So this old text that's highlighted is now 11 point, and this new text is 12 points. So if I highlight this new text and make it 11 point, a little bit more will be revealed, and then I'll make this one 11 point as well. And now I've got an 11 point font going around the entire body of the guitar, which looks a little cleaner, I think. So 11 point, I think, works a little better in this situation. Okay, so there's our guitar body of text. Now we're going to make the guitar parts that we have missed. So I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to name this layer Strings. So on the Strings layer, and I'm going to lock my guitar body so I don't mess with it, and I'm going to turn the visibility back on my guitar. I'm going to grab my pen tool again, and I'm going, actually before I grab my pen tool, I'm going to zoom in on the guitar neck here. Oop, that was a little too close. I'm going to back it off a little bit. What I'm going to do is make the strings of my guitar, so I'm going to use my pen tool, and I'm going to click right here where the string is. Goes up to about right there. And then I'm going to scroll down to where the string ends, which is right here. So there's my first line, and then before, I don't have to go up each time, I can just click on the next one. Whoops. I had a fill on, so I just pushed Command Z to go back in time. I actually want this to be a stroke. Okay, so I'm going to select this, let's see what we got here. Okay, so I got one line there, and I'm going to deselect it. Now I'm going to grab my pen tool down here, click, and I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to click where this one ends, which is right here. Okay, use my select tool. I don't want to select that string anymore. Now I want a new string to start, so I'm going to make my new line for my new string right there, and I'm going to bring it down to the bottom again. And I'm going to select and deselect this. I'm going to grab my pen tool again, and I'm going to make my next string. Okay, select, deselect, pen tool, next string, and there we have that. Select, deselect, and our final string, which is kind of hard to see, but I think it's right there, and ends right there. Alright, select, deselect. Now each one of these lines we can fill with text as well. So if I use my text tool, and let's make this a 7-point font so it's smaller, I can go up to each of these lines. Since these are broken lines, I don't have to hit the Option key. The only reason we hit the Option key here is because we had a solid continuous shape. Right now these lines are open, so if I click right here and paste in my lyrics, this is what we get, and it goes all the way down to the bottom. Now 7 points looking a little big. Let me zoom out actually. So if I want to change my font size, I can just highlight it. And let's make it, let's say 5 point. Yeah, there we go. And you notice that my lines automatically disappear when I make them into text, which is really nice. Okay, so you can just go ahead and do that to each line.